Yet Boasberg, he doesn't care. He's defying the highest court in the land. He claims, well, it's a terrible attack on due process. No, it's not.
This means the administration can continue deportations under the Alien Enemies Act, but the detainees must be given due legal process before making the decision to deport them.
You've been wrong all your life on this stuff.
They took a pass on it. They didn't rule it.
They're going to allow them to continue using it with the caveat that it's due process.
But let's be precise that they didn't rule that the Aliens and Sedition Act is legal.
And you are wrong. All of you are wrong.
Because under this singular law passed by Congress, an alien can be removed without a hearing.
They are losing it, guys. The Cackling Hens of the View clucking again, barking and screeching at the Supreme Court of the United States being corrupt and supporting Trump's agenda. It's not just the Supreme Court. It's Donald Trump's Supreme Court, according to these radical lunatics, where they want the President of the United States to just be blocked from executing on his agenda. The people that are democracy lovers seem to hate democracy. They say that Trump can't stand in the way of the judicial system doing his work, and now that your judicial system is doing his work, they have a problem with it. Without further ado, let's go ahead and react to this.
Yesterday, the Supreme Court overturned a judge's decision to block the deportation of men allegedly members of a Venezuelan gang to a brutal prison in El Salvador. The ruling makes it very clear that the detainees must be given due legal process before making the decision to deport them.
Whoopi Goldberg doesn't know what the hell she's talking about yet again, because due process was nowhere in the paperwork. I actually read the paperwork, and this is not what's defined. Meaningful legal notice is what they said is required. That is not even clearly defined in terms of what that even means, meaningful legal notice. As a matter of fact, the dissenting justices criticized this ruling because they said, well, meaningful legal notice is not well defined enough, and they claim that it is literally robbing them of due process. So the Supreme Court justices themselves that went against the inevitable ruling, they don't agree with what Whoopi Goldberg has to say here, meaning that yet again, she doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. I don't know exactly who she's getting this information from, but if it's from her parent network at ABC Fake News, then you need to check yourself with them before you wreck yourself with them, Whoopi.
Now, the White House is making it like it's a big win for them. They just got checked.
You see, that's the real threat to democracy, stupid people. That's the threat. Our biggest threat to democracy is stupid people.
It has such a stain on history because it was used to intern Japanese citizens. You know, it is somewhat of a win because this act, this Aliens Act, is an act in 1800 that usually is used during war time. And so anything, you know, it may feel like a win, but the fact that they're even
I mean, does it matter what it was used for in the past? It's not being used that way now, so who the hell cares?
Recognizing that the executive branch has the power to do something like that under that act makes me feel squeamish. And the other thing is, you know, this is a shadow docket of the Supreme Court. This is a case that needed to go before the entire Supreme Court. There needed to be briefing. There needed to be arguments.
The word salad doesn't work. The empty phrases do not work.
They're procuring, you know, 4-page opinions by the Supreme Court justice. But what I
mean, what the hell does that even? That was a big old word salad, Sonny. What does that mean? They reviewed it. They made their decision. What else is there to talk about?
El Salvador, the president there said he would be willing to take American citizens in the federal prison population. Is that one of the ideas you're going to be discussing?
Well, I love that. If we could take some of our 20-time wise guys that push people into subways and that hit people over the back of the head and that purposely run people over in cars, if you would take them, I'd be honored to give them. I don't know what the law says on that, but I can't imagine the law would say anything different.
So watch. Basically, this dude just said we don't want people who push people into subways or run people over deliberately with their cars. Watch them melt down as if this is a terrible thing. You're going to transfer people from one prison to another prison? Oh my gosh, like people are going to melt down about everything.
So what he's saying is people that are American citizens, even people that were born here, if they've committed a crime, he would like to send them to El Salvador, to this prison.
Okay. What they didn't rule on the legal issues. What they ruled on was that the court that had issued the injunction that had stopped the deportation flights didn't have the jurisdiction. The Supreme Court did not rule that the Aliens and Sedition Act is legal for them to be using. The problem is
they will be ruled on, but the problem is they sort of took a pass on a shadow docket and are going to allow.
They took a pass on it. They didn't rule it.
They're going to allow them to continue using it with the caveat that it's due process.
But let's be precise that they didn't rule.
They never said that it was due process. They're literally making that up. You can review the court papers online. They do not say due process is a specific legal terminology. You can't take something else and then just translate it as due process. That's not how it works in legality. These are all very specific terms. There is no due process as it relates to what they're referring to. They just have to receive some sort of notification. Could be anything. It could be a notification. Hey, you're being deported. We think you're MS-13. You're out of here. That could be considered meaningful. It's all going to be up for interpretation, which is what the reasonable justices wanted. And these phony behind liberal justices did not want that. They actually wanted a full due process in order for you to deport literal terrorists from the country.
They're not addressing the fact that there's 238 men in the worst hellhole in the Western Hemisphere.
They know.
And that 75% of them have been found by CBS 60 Minutes to not have any criminal records. Of the 22% that...
Oh, so we're going to believe what CBS says and not what the U.S. government says. So according to CBS, these are innocent people. So it's not like they have a horrible track record as it relates to Hunter Biden's laptop in regard to Russia collusion.
You know, this is 60 Minutes, and we can't put on things we can't verify.
You won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
We can't put on things we can't verify.
Leslie, I think it's one of the biggest scandals I've ever seen, and you don't cover it. You want to talk about...
Well, because it can't be verified.
You want to talk about insignificant things.
I'm telling you.
Of course it can be verified. Excuse me, they found the laptop. Leslie.
Can't be verified.
What can't be verified?
The laptop.
Why do you say that?
The terrorists became very mean and very cruel and violent.
More so.
Much more so. They were beating me and starving me.
Do you think they starved you, or they just didn't have food?
No, I think they starved me, and they would often eat in front of me and not offer me food.
CBS is 100% trustworthy. If they don't have the information that literally the government has, then Trump is illegally sending people to foreign nations and foreign prisons. That's what's happening. That's what Anna Stupid Navarro, dumb person Navarro, wants you to believe. One of the chief cacklers, okay, one of the loudest and proudest and wrong people wants you to believe that the U.S. government has information that is worse and that CBS has the right information. You can't fix stupid, ladies and gentlemen.
You have records. It's for non-violent offenses. So when Trump says they're terrorists, they're monsters, he is lying. He is absolutely making it up. And shame on the Supreme Court for not having made sure that Salvadorian father, who they admitted was a mistake sentence, was not brought back.
This guy they said was a member of MS-13, and they keep defending this. MS-13's been around for ages. These are not good people at all. Anything that's malicious, I'm not going to repeat it all. You guys have heard it all the time. These are not good people. And he's the father. Yeah, no, ish. So is pretty much every freaking body.
97% of Americans believe that undocumented migrants who committed crimes in this country should be deported. That is a widely popular position, but they deserve their day in court. And so far, you say this every time we talk about this issue.
There's nothing in the ruling that said that they're going to get any time in court, that there's any due process. It just said that they need to basically just be notified. This is literal mis and disinformation. This is literally false with what they keep saying.
For me, it is a win for us because it was being run over roughshod. Yeah. And maybe it will put a little bit of a stopgap for the next group they try to get rid of.
I'm not sure about it.
Well, we won't know until we know.
Yeah.
The documentation literally says that there's no reason to cease deportations and that they should resume immediately. So the Cackling Hens over here are lying about it. As a matter of fact, let me let you hear somebody who actually knows what the hell they're talking about.
Thanks, Caroline. With regards to the Supreme Court ruling on the Alien Enemies Act, you're right, it was a win for the administration, but the justices also said that deportees are entitled to due process. Does the administration agree with that?
That's not quite true, Gabe. They said that they are entitled to a habeas petition, and we are going to continue to comply with the law, and we are wholly confident that every single person that has been deported under the Alien Enemies Act, every person that will continue to be deported under the Alien Enemies Act qualifies for that deportation.
So let's take a look and see what Grok has to say. Okay. No, illegal aliens deported under the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 are not required to receive a habeas petition. In practice, what does this mean? How does this translate? The government can move swiftly to detain and deport under the act without initiating habeas proceedings. Okay, so effectively what this means is that the illegal alien can try to file it themselves, but they can be deported without it being filed. So no one has to file anything. Affected individuals can file, it says they can file a habeas petition, typically in a federal district where they are being detained. Okay, that's presuming that they have time to do it. There's no built-in requirement for a hearing or judicial review unless the individual seeks it through habeas. Okay, so it is not required. Due process means it is required. This is not due process. These people are lying. They're making it up, guys. I told you guys, and you can look all this information up yourself. This is fake news. If they had it, they would prove it. But this is a win. Trump wouldn't just say it was a win if it wasn't. Of course it's a win for Trump. These people are coping. They don't know what else to do. So face it. You lost again. Okay, you got your ass whooped again, and there's nothing you can do about it. These criminals are out here doing horrible things to men, to women, to boys, and even little girls, to young people and old people. These are not good people. These are not people you want to protect. These are not hills that you want to die on. American citizens, the Trump derangement is making these people brains turn into soup. American citizens are not at risk here. Only illegal aliens are. If you don't want to be at risk of being wrongfully detained as an illegal alien, whatever that means, don't come to the country illegally. Follow a legal process, and you ain't got nothing to worry about. Like all of this other stuff and all of this crying will get you nowhere except to be wound up on one of these YouTube videos with people like me laughing at you. So if that's what you want, keep on crying, and I'm gonna keep on producing videos laughing at you. But these are just my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
And thanks to the Supreme Court yesterday, and today we had a big ruling too. We had a very big ruling today. But we will continue to deport these monsters under the Alien Enemies Act. Think of that, Alien Enemies Act. Can you believe it?